A very good morning, afternoon, and evening to all of you of the Precious Pack, and welcome back once more to VEGA Conflict. Today we're going to discuss repairs, concurrent repairs, and how much of a strain the high-value repairs currently have in the game on the player base. First, let's talk about the repairs as they currently are. As it currently goes, the ships will repair 1 through 6 in order of which they're damaged. If 1 is damaged, it will be repaired. If 2 isn't damaged, it'll move on to 3. If 3 is damaged after 1 has been repaired, and so on and so forth. It goes in order of first till last. Under the idea of concurrent repairs, all ships would be repaired simultaneously, in turn reducing the amount of repair time that you're incurring without actually reducing it, because every ship would be repaired at the same time within a single fleet. So the longest repair time would be on the ship that had incurred the heaviest amount of damage. In this case, 1 hour, 5 minutes of repair time. That's after a DDoS attack. This is after 2 hours of repairing. However, under concurrent repairs, that would not be the case. It wouldn't even be close to 3 hours. It would actually be around 40 minutes for the longest repair time, and that would most likely be this ship right here, because this one's clearly going to be less damaged and take less repair time. 41 minutes. The other one would be 24 minutes. So under concurrent repair times, the ship you'd be waiting on under the new system would be this ship right here for 41 minutes. We would no longer see, under a concurrent repair system, 24-hour repair time fleets, such as... You guys 24-hour? No, but you get the general gist. You wouldn't see 24-hour or more in repair time. The longest repair times we would see would be on carriers and dreadnoughts. And the reason that would be the case is because they simply have the longest base repair time. Longest base repair time. And even the cruisers, it wouldn't be such a horrible thing for them as well. 5 hours, 17 minutes. This is like 5 hours, 45 minutes. So the longest repair time you would see for a fleet using a Sovereign carrier and Bastion Mark 6s under my fittings would be 5 hours and 45 minutes instead of 29 hours, I believe. And that's just... It slightly baffles me that a system like this hasn't been worked on before and tried to be put into the game in order to try and get additional players into the game. Because one of the things that has occurred multiple times that I've always watched is players will join, they'll play the game, they'll reach the point where they take days worth of repair time, but fleet versus fleet combat of players lasts less than 30 seconds in most cases, and the payoff is that now you get to sit out of the game, or the fleet you were using is now indisposed of for 12 to 24 hours. Now you could coin it, or you could wait. Well, 30 seconds for 240 coins doesn't really seem like much of a payoff, because that's $2.40 per fight that you want to carry out. That doesn't really seem interesting, because you would literally be paying to play, and you wouldn't be paying for fun. You would be losing the vast majority of the fights if you're a lower tier player and you're being picked on by a higher tier player. Concurrent repair times, again, they would remove that. Such as, let's take a look at one of my favorite ships, one of my favorite rare ships in the game. These guys right here. Built specifically for fun as well as low-level farming, and I was actually going to use them for low-level tutorial videos that you could use for Revelation cruiser builds, Rapture cruiser builds, and things like that. Well, Apocrypha, because we're staring at the Rapture. But I made them so that they would have a lower repair time as a total fleet, because, again, repair times are currently not concurrent. They're from first to last in that order. Under concurrent repair ratio, this fleet would literally only take 30 minutes to repair. You would be able to play 2 times in the course of an hour with this fleet if you completely lose them. and you match this fleet with Burr to increase the shield potential, and therefore low-level resource farming. So then you'd have another fleet that would most likely consist of Nighthawk frigates, equipped with Cargo 5, and have Sybil with them, just to bring in as much resources as you can to your base. And then you'd pair it with a carrier, most likely a support carrier with a mobility field. I would recommend the Midgard because, again, low repair time of 32 minutes is closer to the base value, so you'd have a fleet that would have a maximum of 32 minutes and 40 seconds of repair time. The trade-off is there isn't really a trade-off. You'd have a low repair time res farming fleet. However, under the current system, this is a 3-hour repair time fleet for each of these ships that I recommended you use. 3 hours in total. 3 hours compared to 32 minutes. Now, the concurrent repair system also involves the current repair values, without actually altering them, because one thing I thought of would be Kixeye would, well, the development team, no longer Kixeye, it would be, the development team are still with them, but it would be to maintain the current cost value for the base repair. However, the value would deplete at 6 coins per 3-minute tick instead of 1 coin per 3-minute tick. So the longer you wait for the repairs as well, it would also become cheaper and cheaper at a faster rate. The other point of this is to attempt to put again, as I said before, a heavier focus on resource management. Because in every RTS game I typically play that I enjoy, there is always a more heavy focus on the resource aspect of the game. Currently, we don't have a really major resource aspect of the game because most of us have fleets that we can farm up billions of resources in the course of an hour and never have to worry about it again. It's odd at times, but it's fairly good at other times. Next up, now that we've discussed the concurrent repairs as well as what they would be in the game of individually repairing every single ship simultaneously to prevent 24-hour repair time ratios, the longest you'd see on a fleet like this would be 4 hours, 26 minutes, 18 seconds. So I could use them in the course of a day 4 times, 5 times, because repair them while you sleep, repair them throughout the course of the day. I mean, you could run them into the ground, literally destroy just about every single one of them, and they would repair faster than they currently are. Let's look at it like this. I'm currently taking 3 hours, or 2 hours 30 minutes to 3 hours of repair time per fight against a DDoS target with this fleet because I'm getting a laugh out of every time. Under the concurrent repair system, that wouldn't be the case because each ship is actually taking about 1/6 of the total. So you divide the maximum repair number by 6. Every now and then the ships will take more damage than others, but they'll be the ship that you're waiting on while the rest of the fleet is completely fixed up and ready. It will take under 1 hour for that fleet to repair, whereas right now it's taking over 3 hours or around 3 hours on average. Now, how would the new system look in the game? Well, for one, we'd have to have a reduced and revised view of what we already have right now, which is this. Instead of having the repair token, well, the repair value over here, completely do away with that and just say repairing, and move the repair values to each of the individual ships and have it so it is displayed under the slot as well as the faction. So it would say the time remaining, X hour, X minute, X second. And that would be for each individual ship, so you could look at them and you could see each one repairing. The revision would be mostly like that, and that's about it for the revision. It would just be to move stuff around, and again, just like what you have over here, if you click a ship instead of having the fleet selected, it'll tell you the exact number of time remaining, the exact amount of time remaining, over in the bottom corner. So you could click it and it would bring it up, and this is where the second half of the revision comes in that actually works into the aspect of the time tokens and paying for the individual ships to be repaired. So, under that, you would also have the next set. So under the time, you would have a new set of buttons. Interactable buttons, most likely in the bottom corner over here. And the first one would be a coin, which is naturally to coin the ship back to its full health. And it will be the same repair cost that it currently is, because we're not changing the repair times, we're just changing how they're being repaired. So that would be 4 hours, 26 minutes, that's about 90 coins, roughly. Well, 400, yeah, 4 hours. So yeah, it'd be about 89 coins, 88 coins to repair this fleet for this one specific ship. And interacting with that button, it would repair the ship for that amount. And at the bottom corner over here, it'll actually tell you, so you select the ship. Down here where it would be saying the repair and stuff like that, just like it is right here if you select the main fleet, you'll have the repair button right here as well. So you'll have the button down here and the Insta button over here as well. So this will be mainly kept where it's at. It'll just be reworked to be based around the individual ship that you have selected. And time tokens will work in the same way. Their button will be next to them, and it will show the repair time token icon. And upon selecting the ship, you could also use a third button down here, and it will be just like applying a time token to just every other ship, as well as how it currently is, but it'll apply it to the specific ship. This means that the time token's additional repair time cannot be carried over to other ships in the fleet, because it's all being put towards one ship, so you may have wasted time, unless you rack up more repair time and then repair the individual ship, which is what I would advise people do with this new system. Well, this recommended system. And again, the repair value of the ships is not going to be reduced, it would just be changing how they're repaired. So instead of a fleet taking 24 hours to repair, it would take around 6 to 7 hours depending on what the fleet is. So, trade-off is, there isn't really a trade-off, it's just altering how they're being repaired. And the time tokens and stuff like that, how they would work is exactly how I just described. You'd be able to apply a time token to an individual ship instead of to the first ship that is being repaired in the fleet. So if 1 is fully repaired, 2 is damaged, it will be applied to 2, and 3 if there's additional time carried over. It's a fairly straightforward system in terms of simplicity, although the mechanics behind it would have to be quite heavily coded in. Because right now we currently have the system of first till last, and it repairs in that order. And under the concurrent repairs, they would have to add a new mechanic as well as new features under the repair tab, just to be able to keep track of everything I've just suggested. The first one being a revised UI, remove the repair button, well, the time over down here, so that it's displayed on the individual ships and the fleets being repaired, and move the rest of the stuff over down in the corner. As I said, you have the repair button here and stuff like that. And this is something else I want to quickly separate, because I failed to state this before. The repair icons over here are actually going to only be quick little ones, so you don't have to click through the individual ships, go like this, and then click down here. It'll just be a matter of click the button on the ship. It'll bring up the corresponding menu, which would be the time token repair one, and you apply the time token like that. It's just a little bit of a more simple way of clicking a button. Alternatively, if that is too complex for the team to actually handle, if it ever becomes a feature, just don't deal with the buttons and just leave it the way it is and implement everything in the corner as I said. So it would still remain with the same repair values that we currently have. We would just be changing how we're repairing. We would see reduced repairs, we would see increased numbers of fights, we would see increased activity from the players, because a fleet that is destroyed would no longer take 1 day to repair. It would take a few hours, and you'd be back in the game right back at it. But it's the small features like this that actually seem extremely interesting, because I can see them breathing a little bit of life back into the game and increasing its longevity. Because people wouldn't be too discouraged by losing a fleet, because, as I showed before, my Rapture cruisers only have, on average, 30 minutes repair time. And they're used for farming resources. You could literally run that fleet through the ground farming resources, log out, log back in 30 minutes later instead of 1 day later. Increased activity also increases the chance of people coining. And this is where the other thing comes up. If people aren't going to coin the actual ships themselves, and they're burning through resources faster during like a PvP event or something like that, they can always pay for the resources. And because of how cheap most resources are, it's actually more suggested to just pay for resources. Just don't farm the resources if you don't need them, such as during a PvP event, you have just nothing but PvP fleets out, you got nothing but marauders going around wreaking havoc. You don't have to worry too much about your resources, because if you have coins, just spend a few of them and you're done with that, just like that. But that's about it for the concurrent repair system. I've described everything I want to. Oh, and this will be removed as well, so instead of this one being displayed to repair the entirety of the fleet, it'll just be an enlarged management button. So I was thinking increase the size of the management button and the cancel button so that they take up the dead space in the middle. So you'd have a management button that takes up 2 slots, cancel button takes up 2 slots. Because you'd want to go into the manage button, and from there you'd go into the standard fleet view and you'd see the repair time of individual ships, the repairs, as well as how much it'll cost in the bottom if you select a specific ship. But that's it for this concurrent repair system idea, everybody. It's the things like these that I always think would be able to breathe a little bit of life into a game that seems dull at times due to the repair times. And again, as I said, the primary stressing point of the game is the repair times. You can build a fleet that takes a month to build, but then you lose them the first day out, they're now down for a day. You have to wait another day, and you may have only fought one target with that fleet. This is just to encourage slightly longer play times in the course of the day. Even if you lose the fleet over and over, you'll at least be able to play multiple times in the course of the day and farm up what you want. And it will also help to increase the amount of time that people can put into the game to farm. Because one of the larger points of preventing people from doing certain things is repair time. It's like a handicap. You're not allowed to do certain things over a certain point. Well, this would lower that bar to allow players more access more regularly. Whereas maintaining the primary repair value of the ships. Alright, everybody. Go ahead and let me know what you guys think of the idea down below in the comment section, and I'm going to get started on the next video, which is most likely going to be a 60 frame per second commentary of a T-55A game replay from World of Tanks. But that's going to be it. Discuss what you think of the idea down below in the comment section, share your thoughts, and let me know what all of you think. Would an idea or a change like this to the repair system actually be beneficial in the long run, as I have said, or would there be flaws to it that I haven't noticed or have failed to state? But that's going to be it, everybody. As always, be safe out there in the void, and I will see you in the next video.